Fire Emblem Three Houses. The game that won so many hearts because of its wonderful slice-of-life mechanics, lovely romance options, and fishing. Lots of fishing. Oh, and battles, I guess, but nobody actually cares about the combat in Fire Emblem anymore. Compared to previous Fire Emblem entries, Three Houses emphasizes on life. Gardening, cleaning, cooking, supports. Using these skills in game must mean that they can translate to our skills in real life, at least to an extent, which is why I'm going to apply to jobs, using Fire Emblem Three Houses as experience. To begin our job hunt, we need an avatar, and a female avatar, because she just looks better than the male one. This is Byleth. She is a professor at the Officers Academy at Garreg-Mach Monastery. She lives on 1991 Ramaya Road in Garreg-Mach Fodlan, FL for short, 72619, and I gave her a phone number and an email. The phone number was set up with Google Voice, and I made a voicemail in case any jobs called Byleth. I tried to find some voice clips for Byleth in game for the voicemail, but all her lines made no sense and it just was not good enough. So I came up with this. Now onto her resume. For experience, I listed 2 previous employment, professor and hired help. She's currently a professor at the Officers Academy at Garreg-Mach Monastery, and there she taught a variety of students from widely different backgrounds, collaborated with house leaders to organize activities and events, created a goal-based curriculum for students to follow, and held private tutoring sessions to refine individual talents. And as for her mercenary experience, I had to take some creative liberties as the game does not explain this part of her life that much. While she was employed at Geralt's Mercenaries, she ensured the safety of citizens in multiple towns, successfully protected hundreds of valuable clients, gained reputation for having unwavering courage, and traveled across the continent while taking on jobs. And then I had to add volunteer experience because just employment history was not enough. She was a church helper at Garreg-Mach Monastery, where she participated in celebratory hymns and feasts. She chaperoned at the annual ball, and she managed the church's convoy. On top of that, she has awards and accolades. Named MVP in the Officers Academy mock battle, she led students to victory in the Battle of Eagle and Lion, and became the youngest professor in the history of the Officers Academy. With the resume done, I needed cover letters. In previous videos, I have applied to 2 or 3 different kind of jobs. This time, I have 4 cover letters as I'm applying to 4 different types of jobs. The first one is a cover letter for teaching positions. I've only been a professor for a short while at the Officers Academy in Garreg-Mach Monastery, but in that time, I've discovered my enthusiasm for educating the younger generation. While teaching, I formed an especially strong bond with my students by reaching out to them individually, not just in class, but around the monastery. The support between my students and I are second to none. We've shared laughs, discussed personal struggles, and explored solutions to family issues. Our bonds are so strong that the students have set up a class reunion in 5 years. My impeccable communication with my students is my strongest asset, and I believe it's a necessity all educators should have. I go on to say, please contact my number if you have any questions. The second cover letter focuses on recruiting positions. I have never had an official recruitment job, but I've completed all the duties of a normal recruiter. While a professor, I convinced many students to join my class. And this isn't your average class change either. If they change classes, the student betrays their family. I possess exceptional abilities to persuade students to join my class, even if it's only because of my gender.
Hey, Professor!
Recruitment isn't the only important step in the process. Sticking with a client beyond the hiring process is just as important. I always ensure my client that together we ride toward achieving their personal goals. The next cover letter focuses on being a barista at tea locations. My job history has 0 experience relating to beverages in any form, but that doesn't mean I'm ignorant in the art of tea. I've been drinking tea all my life, but I didn't discover my fondness and true passion for brewing tea until my recent employment at the Officers Academy at Garreg-Mach Monastery. While there, I would invite my students to private tea time meetings. During these gatherings, my students and I would bond over refreshing tea that sparked a wide range of conversations, from past laughs to reliable allies. They were almost always perfect tea times. These rendezvous inspired me to pursue a profession in the craft of tea. And the final cover letter focuses on groundskeeping positions. Where I work is messy. I'm currently a professor at the Officers Academy at Garrick-Mach Monastery. The campus is littered with items the students accidentally misplaced. Fortunately, I'm around to clean up the mess. I spend 1 day a week returning lost items to my students. Beyond my lost and found shenanigans, I garden, fish for those who crave seafood, and feed stray cats and dogs. Doing this for the past few months has inspired me to change my profession to groundskeeping. My impressive eye for detail and determination makes me a perfect candidate for this career. With all these cover letters, my resume, phone number, and email, I took to Indeed.com and applied to not 50, not 75, but 100 jobs using Fire Emblem 3 Houses as experience. And this is what happened. Now, I know that Fire Emblem is niche. It's far more niche than all the other series I've done this far, so I really didn't expect much. Okay, maybe I had my hopes up a little that someone would understand the references, especially with all my previous escapades getting some fun results. I had a bit of hope, but this is what I got. The first day I received a few generic rejection emails. It's very common, normal, as always. I went to bed thinking, oh, the good ones are going to come in tomorrow, and there will be glorious emails where everyone will get the joke and love it. Then the next day arrived. I received nothing but rejection letters, except for 2 voicemails. The first voicemail was regarding one of the groundskeeping positions, and while this may be a stretch, I feel like they were caught off guard by my voicemail, just by judging how they say hi.
Hi, good morning.
Maybe it's just all in my head, but it sounds like they were caught off guard by it. But in the end, they wanted to hear more from me, so that's a plus. The next voicemail was from a really wholesome guy who was concerned I applied incorrectly or wasn't aware that they were located in California.
You applied on Indeed.com for a maintenance position? I don't know if I'm reading this wrong. We're in Modesto, California. You applied here. I'm assuming you live here. Unless this resume is incorrect, then you live in another state. Well, anyways, give me a call if you're still interested, okay?
He sounds so wholesome. And that was another person who wanted to talk to me more or potentially hire me because of my skills, which is great. That's all I got for the next few days. I know it's a little sad for me to say I was a bit disappointed because no one really knew I was talking about Fire Emblem. Like, I know Fire Emblem isn't as well known as Luigi, Pokemon, or Animal Crossing, but still, I was a bit discouraged, and my roommate Mark noticed that, so he put together an email and sent me it. Of course, I didn't use this email because everything in these videos are authentic. No matter what some of you think in the comments, I've seen those comments, this is not fake. More days went on, no more interviews, no more emails. I had 1 phone call, but they didn't say anything. There was no hope. Nothing. I knew Fire Emblem was niche, but at least it's better than it was in 2011. During my dark, grim, and highly dramatized depression era, there was finally a bright light that greeted me 4 days after sending out emails. Thursday night, I opened my email. 1 new email from the Lord and Savior himself, Andrew. Ha! Thanks for the laugh. The goddess has spoken and given us Andrew, a child of the progenitor god. Thank you, Andrew. I understand you don't really get what's happening in these cover letters or resume, but I appreciate that you were amused. Andrew saved my life. Andrew saved the day. Andrew saved this video. But that's all that happened. Unfortunately, this is not as spectacular as previous application videos, but I still had a lot of fun with this video. I felt a rhythm with Fire Emblem, and I had a lot of fun writing and applying, and it was still a great time for me. But the moral of the story is, you can get a job, or at least a follow-up phone call with Fire Emblem experience. Maybe if I had put Marth Smash Brothers, I may have gotten cooler responses. But oh well. We can revisit Fire Emblem when the next game releases. Maybe someone will understand then. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. There will definitely be more of these in the future, so be sure to subscribe. And remember, don't actually do this.